But I had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had a question about. I feel like I haven't. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen too many origin stories of how you actually came up with like the first premise and first script for Kenny vs Spenny. Like, was that?
Well,
Did you guys sit down and yeah?
Yeah, Kenny will say that he came up with it. I don't remember who came up with it. I don't care. So let's just say he did. It'll make him happy, and it's possibly true. I don't know. But it came about as a result of the deal that we did with Will Smith's company. They asked for 3 or 4 ideas, which is a sort of a philosophic process in terms of you go pitch, and if they don't like one idea, you go to the next one. Some people don't like that philosophy. They like to go in hard with one. And if that, but that was one of 4 shows that we came up with.
What were the other ones? Was anything actually like?
The only one I remember was sort of a real life Testies, if you know Kenny Series. Testies.
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it, but
yeah. So it was basically like, I think it was called Guinea Pigs, and we were going to put ourselves up for experiments. I'm glad that they went with Kenny versus Spenny, though. Both Kenny and I, didn't like aspects of shooting that show. Part of that sadistic audience thing that there was no way around it for us, right?
Right. That's a big thing that no one ever talks about, because like I always say like, oh, Spenny wanted to quit because of this episode or because was there any times where like Kenny was just maybe because of the politics, the show being canceled, or
I never really knew him to want to quit the show. It was always me. Kenny is he's a strange guy, man. He's can be very, very focused and very caring and micromanaging. And then he can be totally not. So it's one or the other. But with Kenny versus Spenny, I think he liked the content, saw that the show was successful, it was making us money. So he really put a lot into it. And I don't recall him ever saying, I remember me making him very angry for different things. And, and from the way I walked out of promos, I did all kinds of sort of, it sounds like it was diva behavior, but with me, it was mental health behavior.
Sure. Well, considering what you were going through at the time, I think it's pretty reasonable, I would say, for most people to put themselves in that situation, right?
I think so. Maybe I could have been more professional, but again, I've never, one of the things with being me, I don't know if Kenny feels that way. We don't really know what we are, right? Because we're not actors in the traditional sense.
Right.
So, what the fuck are we? To me, the closest I can say is I'm a personality. That's it, and a comedic personality or a comedic, I don't know what the word is, but, so we're really on our own track. I've never, and I'm sure Kenny has never auditioned for anything. We've never really worked on other people's projects very much. I have more than he has. So we're sort of fiercely independent, and we don't really fit into any classic show business parameters. So I literally, I don't know what the fuck it is that I do other than I try to make people laugh and right. I play. That's it.
But this is what probably made it so hard to like pivot, even after like a successful show like that, which is, it's no doubt that was one of the most successful shows in like Canadian broadcast history, right?
I don't know about that. But
no,
anyway.
Maybe on comedy.
Kenny says shit like that. The Trailer Park Boys were a lot more popular than we were, for example. But we're thrilled with the success. I would call it more of a boutique kind of success or cult status than mainstream. But we're thrilled with it either way, right?
Sure, of course. Was it hard working in during that time with television networks and then constantly getting
Well, like I said, the pilot was, the misunderstanding there was they weren't a comedy network, first of all. And they sort of, I don't know how old you are, if you remember Spy versus Spy from my Mad magazine. Anyways, they wanted a kind of Spy versus Spy show where like if Kenny got, 6 pit bulls to attack me, then I would come back with 12 pit bulls.
Oh boy.
And it was not at all what we were contemplating. Ours was much more real and personality based. So they, as I said, pulled the plug on it. But so that's where the network has a whole lot of power and they use it. They can't do much more than turn off the show and cancel it. So, but then when we got to CBC and to a certain extent, Showcase, they really let us do our thing. And we didn't know if it was a Canadian thing, because historically in Canada, going back decades, bad shows could stay on the air almost forever. And then it became a little bit more sort of the US model of, if you don't have the numbers, the ratings, you're gone. Still a kinder, gentler version of that. But, we got away with a whole lot of shit, especially on Showcase, that I've said this lovingly, that it was neglect, on their part, and thank God for it. They might, I wasn't in the offices. Maybe they just loved it and said, let them do their thing. They're doing a great job. I don't really know, but we had very little, to answer your question, very little network interference.
Wow, that's amazing.